Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, thank you for the support. I always do appreciate it. So I'm going to start today on a video for Winter Wishes. I am still working in the background on the festive friends. Like I say, I'm going to do a compilation video of all the cards I've created when I've completed that, and then I will move on to this kit, and then the next one. But I'm only going to do probably about 2 videos on each kit, I think, at the moment anyway. So, because there's always new things coming up. There was the new gnomes today, which I did really like. I haven't bought it yet, but I am really tempted. So, depending on what sort of comes, I mean, this is going to keep me busy for at least another week or so. And might see what comes up new next week, because there's always new things with Hunkydory. Okay, so I'm going to be working with the Night Before Christmas today. I've sort of been picking the ones that I haven't seen so many cards of around, and that's how I've been choosing which ones to do on the video. So I'm going to bring in this 7x7 card that's really 6 3/4, and I'm going to take that, and so if it was 7x7, the halfway point would be 3.5, so I'm going to go at 3.25. So we are going to have a slightly lower bit at the front, but the way it will sit on the card will be fine. So we're going to have ourselves a little easel card, and I'm not going to be doing a high easel. I'm going to be doing a short easel like this. 2 reasons. One, I wanted the topper to come high because we've got the sleigh. I'm using this big one here, and I kind of thought if it's coming up, it's like they're already in the sky, which, you know, is the negative space there, if you like. And another reason is I didn't want to use all of the card. Like I say, sometimes I am a bit cheap. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some layers done. So these toppers are all silver. So I'm going to be using some silver mirror card. Okay, so I've got my silver mirror. Let me just bring in my ruler. So this piece that we've done here is going to be 3.25, and it's by 6 3/4. I will just have to remind myself of that every now and then again. So 3.25. So I'm going to go to just 2 notches over the 3. So just my usual layers where I'm just going 2 notches down each time, and then I want a piece for the bottom as well, which is going to be 2 notches under that 6 3/4, and hopefully that should be square. So let's just check that these sit right on there. That one's nice. And sorry, it's my phone going off in the background. I'm going to go a little more on the bottom one. So let's see, so we were there. I'm going to go down to 6.5. Let's go 6.5 all the way around, and then see how that fits. So it's a wider border than I normally would have. I'm just going to take another little millimetre off this top one just to match it up. So just a smidge there and a smidge there. I don't want to be too narrow on those. Okay, so for this piece here, I wanted to use this bit here with the snow. So if I bring this piece in of silver, so we are now at just about a notch over the 3. So I'm going to go to a notch under the 3. Out the way. And then the length on it is 6.5 plus 1. So if we go to 1 under the 6.5, hopefully we should have that narrow border that I like. Pretty much. Just going to take a little more off the side. So just see how that fits. Like I say, it is a wider border than I usually do. Okay, so that's there. So because I don't want to use this one here, I want to use that for something else, and I've got four toppers on here, so I'm hoping that I'm going to get 4 cards out of it. And I don't want to use this either, because I found something else that I was going to use. Okay, so last year they had a sort of a week where if you bought so many things you got things free, and we did, me and Mum did a big order together, and we got the toppers and something else, and then this paper craft pad. So I've never made anything up, so Mum fell in love with this more than me. I've never made anything up out of it. I got the topper somewhere else, but what I thought I would do, so I didn't see that back side originally, so I was thinking I was going to use that side, but this side might be even better. Let's have a little look. Decisions. No, I'm going to go with this side just because I think this is more daylight and he's at the night time. Well, it's not, but because we've got the moon, but it's just a lighter picture. So I kind of thought that and those colours sort of went together quite well. Okay, so let me just, so we were 6.5 square on there, so I'm hoping that this is going to cut quite nicely because it is quite thick. I'm just going 2 notches under that 6.5. There we go. Let's see how that looks on there. Yep, and that's perfect. And that's going to go on there, and then we've got our bit that goes on there, and then we're going to have our bits as well. Okay, so I think that is all the cutting out that I need to do for now. Sorry, the flap was flapping on there. So let's do this bit first of all. We're going to use the all-purpose glue. Oh, let's see if it hasn't stuck together. And just dried glue around the top, so I didn't get this ready beforehand. Okay, so I'm just going to pop some all-purpose all over. This is the Kalau all-purpose one. Hunkydory do have an alcohol one as well, which comes in the purple bottle, and that's a nice glue. It's the same sort of thing. It's just that when I got these, it worked out cheaper for me to get a bigger bottle from Crafter's Companion, because I got 3 big bottles, and it was just cheaper than getting the 6 little bottles from Hunkydory. Like I say, you know, you've got to save money where you can. And just a little bit of tacky glue in the corners. Again, this is the Kalau one. And I think, yeah, I'm going to go that way with the flower. And I thought this was quite like wallpaper, you know, like sort of, we've got your wallpaper and then we've got your night sky on there. So I've got some of the other little books from last year as well. The I think it was Snowfall on one side, and then it had something else on the other. I can't remember what it was. And I'm sort of starting to get into the Christmas bit more. takes me a little while, you know, like you sort of, it's Christmas in, you know, we're still in June, but it just takes me a little while to get into it, and then I sort of get quite Christmassy, feeling Christmassy until like the week before Christmas, and then I'm not Christmassy at all. It's all sort of like gone. Okay, so there we've got our start of our card. So I'm happy with that so far. So we're going to pop this one out. And that's our one there. And because I've gone quite light with this blue, I can take this dark sentiment as a stopper. So it would have worked okay on this one. It showed up quite nicely. But it would have been quite dark on that one. So yeah, that was another reason why I decided to go with this here. Okay, so this is coming together quite nicely now. So I'm going to grab myself a little pencil, and I'm just going to mark gently on the back, just so I know where to put these foam pads. And I'm going to put quite a nice few, and I might go back and double pad it. So let's just see what that looks like. Oh, come on, there we go. Let's see. No, I'm going to keep that as it is. I think that will be fine. So just pull these off nice and quick. A little bit tacky glue on, just my usual. A little bit of, just gives me a little bit of time to get things in the right place, and it also just helps those stick. So I've come down quite a lot on it, just in terms of the topper on it, because I want to make sure it goes in the envelope as well, but I just want to make sure we've got that bit of support there for it, so that when I pop it up, because I am going to go quite proud with this one, quite a way back, I want it to stand quite proud. Okay, so we've got one little square left on here, so let me grab these scissors. I could use the strips, but it just makes sense to use this up. Those on. Oops. Oh, that's there. And so this would normally be my, so I normally do videos every other day. That's when I get chance to craft. If for some reason I'm not able to sort of do something on a day, I do try if I can to do it the following day, but it doesn't always work out that way. But I was lucky yesterday, I did manage to get some done. Okay. So I'm just going to pop that in there. Like I say, I want that to be quite proud. So if I hold that up gently, you can see that that's standing. If I put that like so, you can see that's standing really quite proud. Okay, now I haven't got any dark blue gems, I don't think. I did get these, I'll show you these. I got these from Temu, and they were 89p each, most of them. There's not as many in there as the pictures showed they were, but there's quite a nice little range, and I think they're nail gems rather than actual gems, if you know what I mean. So we've got the black ones there. I quite like them. They're not quite black. So yeah, if I thought for 89p, that's, you know, if you do buy things from there, it's that wasn't a bad buy. But like I say, you know, you do get about half of what the picture shows you, I think. So I mean, there's still a lot of gems in there for 89p, so I didn't really think it was worth complaining. Okay, so I want my glue, and I want my sticky pick-up tool. Where are you? There you are. Okay. So I think the other thing I'm going to do first of all, let me do this first of all, is bring in my quickie glue pen, like the one I was using yesterday. And I'm going to put a little bit of glitter on some of these. So let's see, where should we go? I just want to make it a bit more sparkly. So I'm just going to go along these bits here. Just following that little swirl round. And I just, you know, you shouldn't be afraid to just add something to the papers. I know they're gorgeous and sometimes you feel like, you know, you could go wrong with them, or, you know, you could ruin them, but most of the time you can just add little bits in there and it just makes it just a little bit different to even what anybody else has got, you know. So you know, when I used to go to the craft fairs, well, I haven't been for a very long time, I have to be honest, but you don't see a lot of well, I didn't at that time certainly see a lot of hunky-dory cards. So my cards always really stood out purely because I think a lot of the other people were doing sort of more sort of Barbara Gray or sort of stamped style cards, so they were really like handmade, you know. I don't say that in a you know, condescending way. They were more, you know, you took a piece of white paper and you turned it into a card, you know, whereas this you take a piece of printed paper and turn it into a card or whatever. So but that's what I used to see a lot of at the shows when I used to go. Yeah, I think that's enough. Just wanted that little hint, you know. That sentiment's not really straight, but it's not going to notice when it's stood up anyway. Oops, there goes glitter everywhere. I will wear that for the next couple of hours. Okay, so back to the gems. So we're going with these sort of black ones. So if I bring it out, let's bring out the big ones so you can see them. And they're sort of, they're faceted, but they are a kind of, they've got like a touch of silvery grey in them as well. So I'm hoping you can just pick that up. Yes, it's quite, I think it's going to work well with this. Okay, so let's pop that down there for a second. And I'm just going to pop 3 little dots there. And I love that it comes in this little case because that's quite handy for other things. Oops. Although if I don't put the gems on upside down, that would be a lot better. Come on, don't stick to me. Okay, where did the other one go? And we'll put that one there and we'll go in with this. Did you want? Okay, and I'm going to come and do the same on this side. So we've got the big one, we've got a medium one, and we've got the diddy one. So let's just straighten those out a little bit and make them a bit more even. They're quite far away, but and all of these glues do dry clear, so we don't have to worry too much about that. So we've got 6 on there at the moment. So I'm just going to bring in 3 of these little ones. And that's going to make our little odd number. You know how I like an odd number. Come on then, let's get you. There we go, so they're quite close together, so that's nice. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could come along here with this glitter again, because that does look like a little bit of snow there. So you could bring that along and just put a little bit of glitter on. You could also bring glitter onto this tree, the top of the houses, that sort of thing. In fact, I might do that. So just because we've already started with this one, so let's bring this back, and just gonna go just along these rooftops. And then we'll just pop a bit on the tree as well. And if you've got one of the Crafter's Companion foil glue pens, you could be adding a different colour foil, maybe a bit of green foil, something like that, if you wanted to. So I'm just using my favourite glitter. I think Hunkydory have their own glitter as well, but I haven't got that one. And this is my favourite one. So this is the Deco Art Glamour Dust, and it is super fine, and it sort of takes on whatever colour you're using. So you can see that's on there. I've got some in where I don't want it to be, but what I'm going to do is pop this to the side. We'll let it dry, and then at the end of the video I should be able to brush those bits off with my fine brush. Okay, so that's card number 1 under our belt. We'll just get ready for card number 2. Okay, so card number 2. So I'm bringing in again another one of these card blanks that's not 7 by 7. And what I'm going to do is it's going to be easy to do this with my knife, I think, just because of the paper itself. Let's grab that knife there. So let's see, so we want the inch side, and my topper, I think, let's pop it out, but I think it's about 3 1/4. So using this long thin one. So yeah, that's 3 1/4. So I'm going to pop a mark in at 3 1/2. And we'll mark it at the bottom as well, 3 1/2. I'm just going to join those up. And cut away this side piece here. So that's just going to give us one of these cutaway. Look at this mess. So I'm just going to tidy that up so it wasn't quite on that crease. And there's for me. Okay, so we've got our card, which is cut away like so. Let me just bring in my rubber from the other day and see if it'll get rid of that. Oh, it does. So that's all right. Okay, so we can pop that out of the way, and then we can come down to our layer. So do you remember the other day I was saying that I had some special like holographic mirror card? So this is the mirror card special rainbow sparkles, and that is what I was talking about. So because we've got the silver foil on this, I'm quite happy to be using that. So I'm going to start by cutting this down at 2 notches above the 6 1/2. And I may need to just trim it a little bit more. And this is going to go on this back panel. Nope, we're there, that's good. And then for this front bit we were 3 1/2, so I'm just going to come 2 notches under the 3 1/2. and 2 notches over the 6.5, and we'll see how that fits on there. Yeah, it's very slim mat, but I'm going to live with that, I think. No, I'm not. I'm going to take just another little tiny bit off. And just a tiny bit at the bottom as well. I know it would just bug me once I've got them on. Now, because this is a specialised card, if you want to go ahead and gut it, so what I would normally do is just take that down to the 1, and then I've got my card on the edge of the 1. I'm going to bring that across to just after the 5. And then I may have to just trim that a little bit more. And we can just keep going around. Join up those lines. And again, join up those lines. And then all we need to do is, so we can square it off if we've got a square ruler, or just use it for cutting out frames and things. So it doesn't have to be neat because it's going to be hidden. It's bonus if it is. And if you're using, let's say if you were using a 7x7 card and you'd done a 6x6 mat, if you took it an inch off all the way around and to the 5, you would get an even mat. But I've got a decent sized piece there. I know it looks a bit tatty, but I can use that for die cutting, anything like that. Okay, I don't do it very often, but I haven't seen them have this pack this year, so I'm just going to go a bit steady with it basically. Okay, so originally, because I've done all that, I've forgotten what size I was. So we were 6.5 plus 2 notches, so I can just go to 6.5. And hopefully we should be pretty much on the money. Here we go, so we've just got that beautiful edge coming through. Now I've got a couple of choices here. I was thinking that probably I wouldn't go for the same card on this edge, although I could use this corner. I was going to use the other card, but let me just see. I just thought it might be a little bit too much of darkness. Yeah, I'm going to go with my original idea and take a piece out of here. So obviously save this in case we need that later on. So this was 3.5 minus 2 notches. So we need to be 3.5 minus 2 notches. So we're going to go to 3.25. And I've forgotten the length already, so it needs to be 6.5. Again, keep all these little bits, you never know when they're going to come in, and I'm not going to bother to gut this panel, so that's fine. Okay, so that's our bits there. We've still got 2 decent bits of card left, and we've still got 2 toppers and 2 sentiments. So, but I haven't picked a sentiment out for this yet. Right, so let's get some sticking together. So again, let's go with this one first. That might be a good idea. I'm using the all-purpose alcohol based glue, and I am just going to pop a little bit of tacky glue in the corners, which I have refilled. And the reason I do that is twofold. So I've got the benefit of both the glues, and also it means that the alcohol glue I think is a stronger, flatter glue, and the tacky glue gives me that sort of instant sort of stick. So this will, whereas the alcohol glue will give you a bit longer, the tacky glue sets a lot quicker. So it just make sure that my project doesn't move basically, and that's just what I'm wanting it to do, just to keep it there and make sure nothing's splurging out onto that mirror card. So that's going onto there, just giving it a good press down. And even though you've got that frame there, you can see it doesn't show up on, you know, because we've taken the inside out, we've gutted the card as they call it. You wouldn't be able to tell it. Okay, so that's that piece there. So then again, same, on we go, corners, and on. And like I say, you can gut this piece if you want to. I just didn't do that. I'm actually, if I'm honest with you, I don't very often gut my card. My mum was like, oh, you should be doing this, you should be gutting it, you should be, you know, making the most of it. But I've got like mirror card, I've got so much of it, and I know it would last a lot longer if I gutted it. I know that. But I just kind of feel, you know, like for the speed of making a card, I'd rather just cut it and be done. Okay, so we've got our frames, and as always we've got 2 frames, even though this is one of the smaller toppers. I think it's the smallest one. Maybe the square one is smaller, but okay, so, and I am going to have it hanging just a little bit. Okay, so let me grab some of my, these are the Hunkydory, probably about 2mm, but they're the strips. I just think that's going to be the best way of sticking this one down. And I can go right up to the edge, because although I am having it a little bit hanging over, it's not going to be anywhere that you can see it. Okay, so it's just going to be a tiny little bit. Good amount of support for it. I'm just going to pop these backs off. I see quite a few of you been saying that you're you know, have ordered your blockbusters, or you're getting your blockbusters. So I mean, it's still quite early in the season, isn't it? But sometimes they sell out and then you have to wait for it to come back in again, but they'll have it again probably before Christmas. Not everybody makes cards this early. Okay, so we're going to bring this in. Like I say, we're going up to that edge so that we're over it but not over it, if you see what I mean. So you can't see anything on that side. Okay, and then this one, as is my usual, I'm going to put this one nice and flat. You could leave it out if you wanted to. Just going to take a bit of glue off that. And obviously just be careful if you're going to tap glue onto yourself. Some people do have a reaction to it. I'm quite blessed in that I don't have many things that I am allergic to. Okay, let's grab these Hunkydory pads, and this one again, I'm not going to double pad. I think this is probably going to be about the same height as the frame. Been watching some of Kate's videos. She is on the design team for Hunkydory, so she's quite an interesting watch. I can't remember the name of her channel. If I find it, I know I did subscribe to it, I'm pretty sure I did. I'll put a note on my Facebook page, but yeah, she does some Hunkydory things. So it's an interesting watch if you are a lover of the Hunkydory, and I know quite a few people have said they are. Okay, so that's going in like so. So we've got our sleigh here, we've got like a close-up of our reindeer. That was my thinking. So now we need to think about decorations. So what are we going to do with this one? So I've got gems, you know, I've got gems. I thought I might go with some clear sparkly ones. And we've got some really nice tiny ones here. So rather than using my tacky glue, I'm going to use my quickie glue, and that's there. So I'm hoping I can just pick up one with this, but they are so very tiny. Got two. I might be able to. Come on now, stick where you're supposed to. There, so these are super tiny ones. Like I say, these are nail gems more than not sure if I like these because you can barely see them, although you can get, do get a bit of a sparkle. And then let's have a look at what other gems we've got. Bear with me. Oh, okay, so I wiped those off while it was still wet, and I've decided to go with these bigger ones from Hunkydory. Just prefer to be able to see it. And let's see if we can pick it up with this. I don't think we're going to be able to because it's sticky. No, let's go with. I'll go with the knife. So we're going large, medium, and small. That's much better. And then on this side, just going to put two, and I'm going to go with these black ones. Have I got a tiny black one? I have. 1, 2. Okay. Got these out of the way. And then I want something just to make it pop a little bit. So I think what I am going to do is glitter again. I hate to be sort of predictable, but if it needs something, it needs something, so it's going to have to be done. Okay, let me just grab that piece of paper that I had before. Oops. So let's go quickie glue pen again, just quickly over these rooftops. And all I'm doing is just scribbling because the snow wouldn't be falling in a predictable straight line, so I just roughly trace over. It doesn't need to be accurate in any way, and you can sort of see where you've been because there's a wetness that the glue pen leaves behind. And if you wanted to go to town, what you could do is with your pen and have lots of sort of glittery snow. I have done that in the past. Who's to say we won't do that on the next one? Not got anything there. I think that will do. I'll bring this piece of paper in. And I think it's going to bring it to where we want it to be. I mean, it's got to look like a Christmas card, hasn't it? So let's take that off. that in there. I used to have a little tray for my glitter, but I stopped using it and then I put it away, and then oops, lost our gem there. And there's that little wipey thing. These are those teeny tiny Dawberry things. So they're perfect for just wiping a little bit of glue away. So again, I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to go over that with my fine brush. I'm going to keep that open just so that that glitter dries nicely. So we'll put that to the side. You'll see that at the end with the last one. So last card, even though I could get 2 more out of here. Oh, I didn't put a sentiment on there. Let's go. So it's not going to be the night before Christmas, is it, on that one? Let's grab that card back. Come back here, you. Maybe that was what was missing. Maybe that was why it didn't quite look right. Okay, so we've got Merry Christmas. Could go there. Kind of feeling like it should be up here somewhere, maybe. Or we could go under here. Right, bear with me 2 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to leave it as it is because we've got the dashing on the snow, dashing through the snow there. So we're just going to say that's our sentiment on that card. Okay. So I'm just going to get set up for card number 3. Okay, so I've got a piece of the 300 GSM Cardcraft card, which came from Craft Stash, and I've already cut this down to 10 by 7. Okay, so I'm going to score that at 5 inches, and that's going to make us a 5 by 7 card. Hopefully that's going to go quite nicely. There we go, get a good burnish down, and that's the card. Blank done. So let's bring in the trimmer, which is hidden. Here we go. Right. So I think for this one, I'm just going to go plain silver, and on the last one I'll do glitter if I get to do that last one. So let's just take that little arm out, and I'm going to go 2 notches under the 5 and 2 notches under the 7. And the reason why I did the 5 first, it just means I get more out of my card, the actual cardstock itself. So that should fit on there quite nicely, and it does. And which is the bigger piece that I've got left over. So this is the smaller piece. So I'm going to go to keep as much of this triangle as possible. So I'm going to go to, where are we? Yeah, that's what I thought, we're under the 5. Okay, so 4 notches under the 5. Again, we've got a nice little border there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 notches under the 7. And we're going to go ahead and pop those on first of all. So again, all purpose, and these are just going to be quick cards because really we've made the main cards. Those other 2 are my main cards. So again, sticking that on. So this time I didn't put any tacky glue on the corner, so I'm just going to have to be a bit careful that doesn't move. And then let's see, so the other card is going to be slightly bigger, so I'm going to use this smaller topper here, and I've got this other sentiment as well. So I'm just trying to work out whether I want it to go landscape or portrait. So if I have it going this way, then obviously I've got things that I can do to play with on there. So I still got a bit of room to play on here. I think I need something, maybe a bit of ribbon. I might swap this frame out for something a little bit lighter. I might have enough of that blue left. Right. Let me just get some ribbon, bear with me. Okay, so I made some decisions. So I'm going to bring this pad back in. Move that out of the way a second. And what I'm going to do is pop that onto there. That's just going to lighten this up a little bit. Like I said, it's just a bit dark for me. So I'm going to pop that on like so. Just bring those scissors in. I'm just going to undercut. Like so, we'll pop that there, we'll use that again probably, no doubt. And then when I pop this in, it's just lighten that hole up for me, like that, lighten that whole thing up for me. Okay, so I've decided with my card I'm going to go this way. Okay, but I do need some red liner tape for this ribbon. I've decided to use red, so pick up on these reds again, just trying to lighten that darkness of it. We're just going to pop those onto the back of there and the back of there. Just going to pop that and that. Not pressed it down enough. And usually what I do is if I'm putting ribbon on, I usually put it so that it goes behind that silver layer as well. But obviously this was a late change. You know what I'm like, change my mind as I'm going along. These videos are me basically just crafting with a kit. And the reason why I started them was because my mum couldn't actually, health reasons, couldn't craft with me. But she did, like we used to have a table downstairs and we used to craft together. Well, she'd tell me what she wanted and then I'd get it ready and then she'd stick it together. That's what would usually happen. But when her health got so bad, I mean, she still was doing some crafting, really pretty much right up to the end, as much as she could. I mean, she had ideas. I mean, she was talking about cards that she wanted to make, you know, days before she passed away. So it was a constant thing with her. She was, you know, she was a card maker to the very heart and the very core of her, really. And I started making these videos because she was enjoying watching videos, but we couldn't craft together anymore. So these videos gave her an opportunity to sort of craft me like she wasn't able to anymore. So, and that's how they began. Okay, so let me grab some more foam pads. There you are, hiding. And because we put that back on there, it's going to be nice and easy to just pop some pads on. And I'm going to put 5 on just to give that a good bit of support, because that is only paper there. So if I give it a good bit of support, we know it's going to be okay. Okay, we're just checking that you can't see that, and you can't. I was just about to say the backs are coming off these really easy, and then that one struggled, but this new pack that I've had is, touch wood, it's been quite easy to get the backs off. Okay, so we're going to pop that in there, I'm going to go higher again. We could do with a 1mm. Let's see, have I got a 1mm? Only in the small ones. Just pop a few on, not too many. Just so there's a little bit of a difference between that and there. Just see. Just need one there and one there. So I may edit little bits out of this video. Then again, I might not. I might just leave it all in. I'm hoping if I'm quick with this one, which hopefully this should be more or less done. Maybe some gems. Maybe some pearls for this one. Let's see. So again, just a bit of tacky glue. And we've got our little Santa in. There he goes. And then this one we will cut that down. Put that on there. That one on there. I think I'm just going to go straight in the middle. And right there. Okay. What I am going to do, I know I said I wasn't going to be like too in depth. But what I am going to do is just these little sparkles. I'm going to glitter. And you'll have to forgive me if I miss any just because of the lights being so bright. So that should give us our bit of bling. Must be in quite a glittery mood today because I've used it on all of them. Okay, that's looking good. So I might go with some sparkles, but sparkle gems. Crafters, not crafters ones, we want some Hunkydory ones, so I'm just going to grab those. Okay, so I've got these ones and they're kind of like little, they look like little snowballs to me. I think they are Crafter's Companion one. So I'm just going to pop 3 on the bottom there. I might have to use the other thing. There's my knife. I always forget. So I'm going with 2 mediums. I've been really messy with the glue. That's purely because I'm rushing a little bit. And we'll bring that and just wipe that away. Tries clear anyway, but just means I don't get any sort of shiny bits where I don't want them to be. And then what I'm going to do is just put 2 these black ones up here. Okay, and then we'll leave that one to dry. Okay, so that's card. We've got a frame there left over, so that's going to go in my little bits left over. Okay, so for the last one, I'm going to bring in a different scoring board. I'm going to bring in, this is my old, and you can see how old it is. This is my old Easy Score. So I'm going to bring in a piece of the 300 GSM white card, and I'm going to grab a scoring tool. Now we'll use this one because it's better. And the reason why I've used this one is because I have got my A4 half fold line there. So I was just going to score that completely in half. And I'm pretty sure this piece that we've got left over is going to be a decent size to fit on it, so that's great. Okay, trimmer in. I said I'd use glitter on this one, glitter card, so just grab a piece of diamond sparkle. Shiny. Okay, so let's just measure this. So it is, let's do it from that side. So it is 2 notches under the 6. So we're straight away going to go 4 notches under the 6. And hopefully that should be 6 notches under the 6. 2, 4, 6. So we're going to have a wider border, so that's not a problem. And then the lengthways, come on, lengthways we are 8 and 4, so this needs to be 8 and 2. And I believe this should be, I'm going to try 8, but I think I'm going to have to take another 2 notches off it. So let's just see how that goes. Yeah, I have to take another 2 notches. So it's not the it's the actual border around the silver that I'm looking at. So because this piece was a bit smaller, I just wanted to match that border up all the way around. So we've got a good amount of sparkle there. I'm quite happy with that. Okay. And then if I bring, we've got this topper here, it's the last one. And I've got 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, but clearly it's not. Clearly it 'twas the night of Christmas. That is such a word. And go there, we could go just there. Just see if I want anything else on here. Yeah, I'm just going to go fairly plain. I could use, you know, you can use some, I had a sentiment, I'm sure I had 1 or 2 of the sentiments last year of the that were on a die cut and in a line. The other thing I could do is emboss this. So I'm just going to pop this through an embossing folder with some snowflakes on, just for a bit of added wow. Okay, so I've just used this old Crafter's Companion one that's got the snowflakes, and you can see that's just brought that up beautifully. Okay, so we're gonna put this on. And again, just using that all-purpose glue, but be super careful. I know I say it every time I use it, and sometimes that's a couple of times in a video, but that's just because I really just want you to be super careful. There's nothing worse than something destroying everything you've done for a couple of hours or a half hour, even 20 minutes. Okay, so that's there. Then I'm going to come with these pads here. Again, these are probably about 2mm, maybe 3. Not quite sure what size I ordered, to be honest with you. I'm just going to whip those off. A bit of tacky glue on there. And then I'm going to pop that on the wonk, because Santa's going down onto the houses. And I think I'm going to come in along here with this one. Again at that same height. And do you know, I don't think I've done this size card in such a long time. It used to be like all the well, when I started, you know, it's like you do the easiest, don't you? The easiest card. So this was the easiest size, that and DL. Although I found it very hard coming down to small cards because I originally started out as a scrapbooker. That was my way into craft. I was doing a life story book for somebody, which was 12 by 12. So I came from all of that space to hardly any space, and that was quite a big adjustment for me. Okay, so I'm going to bring these tiny ones out again. Let's move those out of the way, and I think, have I got some of those? Bear with me 2 seconds. Okay, so what I'm going to do to finish is just go around all of these shiny beads. I've got my pickup tool, I've got some glue, and I'm just going to go around in the centre of all of these snowflakes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fast forward ahead to this being done, just for the sake of not having the video running too long. I know some people don't like to watch the video go on and on and on, so I'm just going to fast forward this till all the stones are on. Okay, so that's it all stoned up, so you can see just well, the glue's a little wet on it still, but that sparkles up quite nicely. Okay, so those are the 4 cards that we have got finished. So let me just bring that one in and grab my fine brush. We just brush that excess glitter away. So all of my little sentiments are a bit on the wonk today. Must have been one of those days for wonkiness. Okay, so this one I did move that sentiment a little bit, but it ripped the paper. So I had this little border left over from the one of the last kits, and I've just hidden where it's ripped the paper there, so that's come back quite nicely. So yeah, those are the 4 cards. I'm quite happy with that. It's quite a good amount of cards because they're all fairly decent size, so it's going to be good for my little charity when I sell those. So I will put close-ups on Pinterest just in case you want a closer look at them. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, thank you for your support. Take care of yourselves, guys. Bye bye.